everybody, are you a brand new gardener? This is your first year, or maybe this is your second year, or maybe you're a seasoned gardener and you're just overwhelmed with so much that's going on, like I am. In this video, I'm gonna go over the five biggest things that I've learned from this spring that I will continue to focus on and learn from for next year. Everybody, welcome to Down Home Backyard Gardening. Are you looking for a channel produced by a beginner gardener for beginner gardeners? If so, you have found the right one. Hit the subscribe button down below, hit that bell so you're always notified whenever I upload videos. And y'all, welcome to the journey. Let's grow. This list is in no particular order. I sat down, I did some thinking over the last few days, and these are the five biggest things that I've come up with for spring. Number one, I am absolutely 100% giving up on squashes in the springtime. Not going to do it anymore. Every year I've tried to grow this crop, and I'm talking completely different types of squash, not just the yellow crook neck ones or straight neck ones. I'm talking all different types of squash, and I am constantly getting just destroyed in the spring with this crop. I'm not just going to say squash, I'm also going to add zucchini to the list. Because if you look right here behind me, these are rampant zucchini plants going up this trellis. Now, I had 5 strong vines going up the trellis just a week ago. And in that week, I've lost 2 vines. And one I literally just saw as I came outside to do this video. This vine yesterday was not like that. It was like that. And you can see I've got a rampant right there and right there. But literally that is gone. The vine borers once again have attacked, and not just that plant, but all of those plants, along with powdery mildew. Now, for the last 2 years, I have said every fall or winter that I will not plant squash in the spring. And every winter, I come out here and I start planting squash and zucchini for the spring, expecting a different outcome. Well, this year, it'll be my 4th spring. I am completely done with squash and zucchini plants. Even though these right here are actually doing good, and these are supposed to be pest resistant, if there's any plant that I will grow from here on out in the spring, it'll be that rampant zucchini right there. As far as squash or zucchinis, the rest will all be in fall. I am not going to deviate from that anymore. I am tired of planting these crops in the spring and getting literally nothing or one fruit or one veggie. I'm just done. If you can tell, I'm super annoyed. But I am done. So, number one thing, I'm done with squash and zucchinis. 100% in the spring. All right, the second thing, and I think this goes back to just really taking your time and preparing yourself for the following season. And that's just simply planning better. In November, December, January, y'all, I am gung-ho, excited. I've got seed trays going. I got the heat mats on, the grow lights on. And I'm just itching to get outside and get past my last expected frost date, which for this area, zone 9A, is always March 1st. And I'm just ready to get stuff planted. But I'm in such a rush that I constantly am not planning properly. And I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about. This entire bed was garlic, y'all. And it looked so good a month ago. And today, you can see what it is. And that's because I did not properly plan, and I planted all the garlic under that lip, so all these rains that Houston's been having has just destroyed them. Destroyed at least 60% of that garlic. So, properly planning is so important. Not just from the standpoint of ordering your seeds, knowing what crop grows well for your area. That's a huge one, y'all. You got to know your zones. You got to know your temperatures. and everything, and you have to basically order accordingly. Well, that also goes to planning your garden. And another example of that is you don't want to plant certain crops next to certain crops, and you want to plant certain crops next to certain crops. Companion planting is so important. But an example, you don't really ever want to plant potatoes next to tomatoes. They're all in the same nightshade family, but they also share the same types of diseases. So you want to split those up for the most part. And what I've done, one thing I did right, these are tomatoes over here, and over there in those buckets right there, those last two buckets are all the potatoes. So they are super, super, super far away from each other. That's properly planting. But as far as not planning correctly, I'm constantly doing it. Constantly. And I keep thinking in December or January, like, man, I've got this plan down. I'm ready to rock and roll. I have a game plan. And I'm just not doing it correctly. Let me just put it that way. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself, but I'm not happy with the way I planned this spring. So plan properly, order accordingly, and stop being in such a rush, Chad. All right, the next thing is something that I've never actually done. Well, I've done it. Let me clarify. Amending your beds. Now, I have constantly preached or harped or taught, or whatever term you want to use, that I amend my beds twice a year. Winter, when nothing's out here, and then basically next month when I'm about to start changing stuff, pulling out spring crops and putting in summer crops. This year, what I have done is I've continued to amend throughout the spring. And what do I mean by that is I have brought in compost. And even though I haven't shown it in the videos, because one, I wanted to test and see if it'd make that big of a difference, but I have brought in compost or garden soils. It just depends on what I go get each time. And around the bases of pretty much all of these beds, I have continuously, once a month-ish, put in new soil, new compost, along with fertilizing on a specific regular basis. But the thing I've never done before is the constant amending throughout spring. I have seen a big difference in the plant growth by doing this. So am I saying amend every single day? No. Am I telling you that you should amend every single day or every month or every 6 weeks? No. I'm telling you what has worked for me and what I'm going to continue doing. And I don't see a downside. It is a little bit, I am spending a little bit more money. But the upside is everything is just really growing really well. I'm not having really any issues with this at all. And I have found that I'm actually getting a lot more vegetables, more fruit on the plants by doing this. Now I know it's common sense, right? The more you amend, the more nutrients you give to the soil, the better everything should be. The more production all the plants should give or produce. But I was so stuck in my way of thinking that, hey, twice a year, amend, twice a year, amend, that over the winter, I really thought about this and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot for spring. And it's really worked. I mean, look around. Just look at how everything is doing. I can't really complain or say, hey, that's not working. So, amending more than what I've always read has actually worked. And I will continue doing this because if it works now, why won't it work throughout the summer or throughout the fall when I try to maybe grow brassicas again? Probably not. I think that's just going to be a waste of my time, but I might give it a shot in a specific section of the bed or a bed. But amending more than what is normally said has absolutely worked, and I'm going to continue doing it. So I wanted to share that. The fourth thing is this. I have always prepared my spring and only spring in the winter. And what do I mean by that is when I'm ready for spring, I am starting seeds for spring crops. I'm ordering seeds for spring, maybe some summer crops, but mostly spring crops. And I don't know why it's taken me 4 springs to figure this out, but my spring here is almost like a summer. So what am I saying? I'm going to starting next year, planning, and we're going back to the planning phase, the planning point here, to actually maybe start some summer stuff, summer crops, when I'm starting my spring crops. I am in the south. It is hot here. Today's 92. That's why I'm in the shade right now. But why can't I start okra in March when it's in the 80s? Or runner beans, cowpeas, which are typically summer crops. I am going to start next year completely changing up the game. I don't know if this is going to be just insanity or what, but I think the more I've really thought about this over the last couple months, I don't know why I don't have okra growing right now, other than those little tiny dwarf okras that I planted 2 weeks ago. Because okra is one of my favorite crops, and I grow them very, very well here. And I'm sorry I'm looking all over the place. I have bees all over these basil flowers, which just makes me happy. Like, if you don't smile by seeing pollinators in your garden, yo, you're on the wrong channel. But yeah, so I think I'm going to change up my strategy big time. And I don't see a downside in that. And if y'all think there is a downside, by all means, drop them in the comments. If any of these things that I pointed out register or you think I'm crazy, drop them in the comments. Just be polite, please. Okay, the 5th and final thing that I've really put a lot of thought into for spring is this one word that will drive every gardener just crazy. Do y'all know what it is? Pests. Pests. Not the beneficials. Pests. Okay, I have produced 3 or 4 videos on pests. What to plant to bring in the beneficial insects to attack the pests. Because what's funny, y'all, is out of all the hundreds of thousands of insects around the world, only about 3% of those insects are classified as pests, being detrimental to either gardens or, whatever. They're just bad. 3%. So you've got 97% good insects that don't do anything to your gardens or flowers or whatever. And we've got to constantly combat the 3%. It's so irritating because those 3% are such punks. I hate them. I hate them. But they're necessary. I get that. But here's the thing. I've planted so much stuff in this garden to combat them that here's the reality, everyone. You are never going to plant one thing that will magically clear out all the pests or clear out this one specific pest. And yes, I know the common sense in this, but it is so irritating to have so many plants out here for deterring pests, and then you have so many of them. So pests are just inevitable. We just have to deal with it, accept it, and I'm no longer going to allow them to steal my joy. Because this garden is my zen. It is my happy place. This is where I love to be. Right now, it's 92 degrees. I'm sweating. And you know what, y'all? I love it. I love it because as I keep looking around, there's just beauty everywhere. And with beauty comes ugly. And ugly are the pests. I have been hit with so many cucumber beetles this year that it's blown my mind. And in the last 4 or 5 days, the leaf-footed bugs have been just everywhere. I killed 12 of them yesterday alone in this backyard. 12. I don't think I saw 12 of them all year last year. So again, what am I getting at? Pests are inevitable. We just got to deal with them. But here's what I advise everyone to do. Plant all the crops and all the plants that you can plant to bring in as many beneficials as you can and to help repel as many pests as you can. But I've said this since basically I started this channel. When you're in the garden, you have to always be looking for them punks. You're looking at the beauty, you're looking at this plant or that plant, and look at this fruit. Among all of that, be looking for pests. Always be on the lookout, because those little punks are out there. Okay, y'all, that's the video, but I have one more thing to talk about, because as I was filming this, it kind of dawned on me, and that is this. I am in zone 9A, which is toward the southern part of the country. I'm just north of Houston, Texas, in Spring, Texas. And I don't know if it's just never dawned on me before, or if it's the fact that I'm getting so many more comments on videos this year that it's really starting to resonate with me. But it should have been common sense, let's be real. But the majority of the country is behind me as far as growing, as far as our growing seasons. I have an early growing season and a very late growing season, where most of the country y'all are north of me. And I'm speaking specifically for America, but if you're around the world, you know what I'm talking about. It's never really dawned on me that when I'm planting out the garden and I'm doing these videos, a lot of y'all can't even get out there and start growing yet. And I love the comments where I'm inspiring people and showing what their gardens can be and everything. I love that. I love it. But it never truly dawned on me that I'm so far south that I can start so early. Because for me, March 1st is like, just, are we ever going to get there? Like, the clock is just dragging slow. So I can't imagine being in a zone where you can't even plant until May. Like, that blows my mind, y'all. But I have to start thinking of that. And I'm going to. For next spring, I'm going to think of that more understandably, that just because I'm able to have all this asparagus growing right here and all these peppers down here growing, some of y'all can't even get stuff in the ground yet. So I guess a more of an awareness of where I am in the country is basically what I'm saying. And I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm producing videos going into next spring, 100%. If y'all enjoyed it, do me a favor, share the video, like the video, and comment down below. If I have earned your subscription today, and if this is your first time watching this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and then again, hit that bell so you're always notified whenever I upload a video. Everyone take care, God bless, shine bright and harvest hard. Let me know down in the comments if this video resonates with everyone or anyone, or if you have any comments to the contrary of anything I've said. And I'll talk to y'all again real soon. Bye. Y'all, it is hot. Every time I want to come to a new section to film, that sun pops out and makes me want to run back to the shade. Okay, let's sit right here. Okay, this is the fourth, man, something's biting me. This is the fourth thing. All right, this is number 4, and not necessarily in that order, but okay. All right, the fourth thing is this. I think I'm going to, that's a big old butterfly over there. Oh, that's beautiful, y'all. Hold on. Y'all got to see this butterfly. I hope it doesn't fly off. That thing is gorgeous. Hold on. Look. Do y'all see it? Look at that butterfly. I hope it'll stop flapping around. Hey, Hoss, just stop. Anyone have a clue what kind of butterfly that is? That thing is gorgeous. I hope it's not a bad one or I got to kill it. Wow. There we go. There we go. Just hang out, Hoss. Okay, so This will totally be at the end of the video for sure. But what a great every time I'm in the garden, something like that happens. I don't always catch it on film, but because I'm not normally filming all the time, but that is awesome. Makes me happy.